Black First Land First is once again at the Zondo Commission. Today is particularly important because Comrade Mzwanele Manyi is furthering his testimony on the state capture inquiry. He highlighted in particular two important things that are very important. And the first one was on, there is the dominant narrative from white settler monopoly capital media on state capture, implicating the Gupta family and also implicating publications such as the New Age and the NNN7 that they have shut down. So what Comrade Mzwanele Manyi has been able to do in particular today is to give us a clear breakdown in terms of when he was head of the GCIS department in government in charge of communication, on how communication is decimated and information, how it reaches people. How is this particular budget spent? And we have seen from the testimony that was given by Comrade Zanele Manyi that obviously the SABC, as the state broadcaster, was the main beneficiary. But the rest of the list, talking about millions and millions of rand, implicates publications that are under direct control from white monopoly capital. So these are the likes of Edge 24, which is the marketing arm of Naspier. And you know Naspier as the apartheid Stratcom publication that continued to do its work, has not shifted on how it does its work, even today, 24 years into democracy. And he also gave a clear background on how companies such as TISO, Blackstar, got millions and millions and millions, and how a newspaper such as the News 24, mistakes such as the New Age, got as much as 8 million rand in terms of budget allocated to them so that they can be able to do its work. He also broke it down in terms of percentage. So if you look at the total, which is about 194 million rand, this is for the financial year of 2011 going into 2012. The New Age gets about only 4.5% of the total budget. But because of how the white monopoly capital establishment and its cabal are able to have monopoly over perception and what people think, they present the money allocated to the New Age as a disaster. And therefore, no one then gets the opportunity to question on how private corporates and these media houses that were also very much implicated on pushing agendas of regime change in the country. You know, the whole call of asking President Zuma to step down and many other ministers who were pushing an agenda of, in particular, radical economic transformation and that of land expropriation without compensation. So it's very important what Comrade Manyi had presented into this commission. It's important because it deals with how news are created. So white monopoly capital and their publications, ETV under Johan Rupert Naspiers and Tiso Blackstar, they present a narrative that shields white monopoly capital, that shields racism, right? That almost assumed that the ordinary black person is stupid and therefore not capable of analyzing their own information. What we got in particular with NNN7 and the New Age, right, was a shift in narrative to say no. In a country such as South Africa, where wealth of the country, means of production, land ownership is all in the hands of white people, and how they have captured even government institutions. You have NNN7 and the New Age, which said there is white monopoly capital corruption that the main establishment is not covering. So you have a voice that speaks on behalf of the landless black majority, which was represented by the New Age and NNN7. And then you have the whole white monopoly capital establishment that is always pushing an agenda that the problem in South Africa is not white ownership and how they have captured the state. The problem is black people who are in charge of some institutions in government, and therefore we must continue in such a matter. In such a manner. So it was very important to listen to Comrade Mzwanele Manyi in that manner, to say that even the money that the New Age got from government, it is well deserved. In an country where media is dominated by a particular race. So basically, again, the media and how the commission is being used is to almost make a very unashamedly, unapologetic statement that, no, it's okay to do business with white people, but no new black business must be given the opportunity. So that is how far we are. And then secondly, importantly, Mzwanele Manyi then dealt with the corruption that had happened under the watch of Pravin Gordhan when he was finance minister. So this is the loot of about 4.3 billion rand around the integrated financial management systems, you know, work that was supposed to be done by the National Treasury. And then you would remember when we still had channels such as NNN7, there was a leaked report, an internal audit report conducted by the Treasury itself on how money was looted, billions of rand, under the leadership of Pravin Gordhan, and nothing has been done about that. So this is how far Comrade Manyi is in terms of the country. And well, news outlets and politicians and many other people have presented themselves as people who are against corruption. But it seems the attitude on how we deal with corruption is selective. So it's okay when it implicates Pravin Gordhan because he's an agent of white monopoly capital. He is friends with people who own this country, such as Johan Rupert. So what Comrade Manyi is providing into the commission now is that such a big establishment such as NN7, which was able to be the voice of radical thought, black nationalism, and where ordinary people could switch on television and finally see that, no man, this is something that is being discussed and I can identify with it because we are all victims of the capture of the whole country from white people. So that's how far we are now. We are on lunch and then Comrade Manyi is going to continue. And we respect the comrade for the bravery, I think. And we are looking forward to more bars and files and bombs and many other revelations to just show the hypocrisy of white monopoly capital and their media houses.